Before I start this video, guys, I just want to ask, how many season tokens do you guys have ready and waiting for this season? Those are the purple tokens in your season store. I'll be asking that as the top comment if you want to reply to that. Now on to the video. Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video we're going to be taking a first look at the League Season 10 season store, as well as taking a look at Ivanova herself, who is going to be the first S-Class character coming into League's rewards. So this is the next season store coming up. This was already posted on the Walking Dead Road to Survival blog, but we have now got information on what Ivanova is going to be like. These are the 4 characters that we already had knowledge of. Ivanova herself coming straight in and it's an S-Class. You can see those big stats. And then we have the 3 ascendable characters being Ty, Elodie, and Xander. We have talked about it before in terms of the returning character being Xander, like a return of a return. Not necessarily a bad thing, you can just not get him. Most seasons, people don't get everybody. It's just the way it is, either because of duplicates or just because of non-usefulness. I would say to a certain extent, all these characters are going to be either useful or fun, which is, I think, the first time this has happened in a season where every single character is decent. The only downside is, obviously, if you have Xander already, there's not much need to get another one. Even in 5-star arenas, you don't really need a command, but if you did, I guess you could use Xander in your 5-star arena defense team, wouldn't be terrible. Now, something new coming into this season store is Letterman Jackets and baseball caps are going to be available to purchase with your season tokens. You do, of course, need these to rank up Ivanova, and you normally would purchase them in the normal League store with your Silver League tokens. But this gives you another option to purchase just in case. Obviously, the requirements of normal S-Class characters is increased over a 6-star, so it was fairly obvious that the S-Class within the League store would also increase. You have the option to purchase 40 Letterman Jackets and 60 baseball caps. It's unclear how many of these it would require to actually tier up Ivanova. More information on this will obviously come out once she is released. But if it sticks to the normal upgrade boost from one tier to the next, it generally will need at least 3 times as much. However, the difference between a 6 stars normal gear and an S-Class's normal gear is actually 5 times much. So, like I said, it is unclear, but we'll have to wait and see. But now on to the main event, and this is going to be Ivanova, like I said before, being the very first S-Class character coming into the season store. And this is what she looks like. She is indeed going to be a strong character, as kind of assumed just based on the picture that we saw before. Her get-up is not too extravagant, pretty low-key. She does not have a backpack or a hat. I'm not counting these things as backpacks or hats, which is really strange. It's so out of the box, I'm going to be honest. But we'll look at her stats. It's 4,691 attack, 4,100 defense, and 3,561 HP. Her trait is, of course, strong, and her role is seen as support, but she's got pretty hefty damage for a support character. Moving across to her adrenaline rush, it is called Traumatizing Blitz. 76 AP cost, deal 450% damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get 2,000 trauma and minus 25% defense for 3 turns. So obviously 3 parts to this rush effectively. That we've got the damage, the trauma, and the defense down. Now the damage part of her rush is of course line damage, so 450% to a line is not too bad. With 4,691 base attack, she actually has better base attack than Arav. Obviously that line damage is much more greatly reduced. It's kind of more in line with Angel as a line attack hit, but her damage is a lot higher than Angel. So you'll see a better damage output from Ivanova here over Angel. Straight up, she has 800 more attack stat than Angel, and Angel's rush only does 400% rather than 450%, so she's definitely going to be hitting harder. Now the second part with the 2 debuffs, this is a little bit hit and miss. Trauma is nice, but the biggest deal here is the defense down. If you've got a character like Arav who also does line damage, you do Ivanova's rush first, you follow up with Arav on 2 characters that have got defense down, and you're looking at an almost guaranteed line wipe. Arav deals very, very high damage regardless, but on characters that are going to have reduced defense, even better. And this is what's kind of devaluing the trauma, because it's the characters that get hit by this line damage that get the trauma, no one else. And they're most likely going to be taken out afterwards. Because Ivanova's a support character, she's softening up a line for other people to basically take out. So the trauma part of this rush doesn't really do much. I would have much preferred it if it was trauma to everybody and then it was just a line defense down. I guess, however, for people who do not have the characters to take down that line of enemies, like Arav, basically like any other damage dealer, the trauma could come into use. Obviously, the cleanse of the defense down, the trauma itself would result in 2000 trauma damage per cleanse. I don't think this is a terrible rush by any means. I like this softening up as a line of enemies. Obviously, this is going to work very well as a support character with Arav, and she could potentially be used behind a leader like Clementine, because obviously her defense down on this rush will actually stack with Clementine's leader skill, so further increasing that defense down. Now, her active skill is where things actually really start to heat up. It's attack up and focus. It has an initial cooldown of 2, cooldown of 3, and number of uses 5. So a standard 2, 3, 5. All teammates get 25% attack and focus for 2 turns. This is great. Obviously, the focus part of this is the real highlight. Because it has an initial cooldown of 2, that first turn you're going to be obviously getting your AP. The second turn, if they do have a shield, they will obviously shield, and that's when Ivanova can use her active for your entire team again to bypass that shield. It is the entire team, it's not just other teammates, that sort of thing. Now obviously in this situation, Ivanova would lose a turn. She's not going to gain AP here, she's not going to be able to rush turn 3 naturally. But as a support character, that's generally an okay sacrifice if you're allowing 4 of your teammates to just bypass a shield. So this active is perfectly made for an attack team. Now the 25 bonus attack is a nice little boost because her teammates effectively are going to lack that defense down on a line of enemies. They're all going to get a 25 boost in attack. So it's basically going to come out to the same sort of outcome where she's going to increase the damage of her teammates regardless of what she does. A big bonus, of course, is focus will stop your teammates from getting taunted or confused. But mainly in this situation, I'd see it as just a shield bypass. That turn 2 initial cooldown is great. So if the active skill was Ivanova heating up, the leader skill is just the perfection, the cherry on top, because she is an all melee leader and she gives 40% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Pretty much what people have been needing for ever. This leader skill definitely should have come out way earlier on in the S Class era, but at least it's become a more open source leader skill. Dropping in the season store means everyone gets to pick it up. We've got 3 months of this character being in the season store. And while this character will cost 35,000 season tokens, it's definitely worth the pickup. That leader skill alone is a massive rarity in the S Class era. I do think some people will be disappointed that it's not 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking, like Priya is, for instance, as an S Class ranged leader. But the minimum is as good as a 6-star character, and it is. This means, of course, characters like Arav, Henyen, James will all be able to work together in teams or combinations of, and such will increase the power of these characters. They were kind of sitting back a little bit versus the ranged teams, and Ivanova's definitely going to bring that up a little bit. So all in all, I actually think Ivanova's a pretty nice character. She's obviously not going to be a world beater. She's not meant to be. She's a support character. She's meant to make other people more powerful. Every part of her kit does that. Her rush makes other people's damage more powerful. Her active makes other people's damage more powerful and allows them to bypass shields and not get confused and taunted. And her leader skill obviously is going to increase damage output, creates different team builds that you can actually come up with, obviously using all your melee characters. So all round, I think Ivanova is a very nice character coming into leagues. Now, I for sure am going to pick her up. I will definitely get some gameplay out of this character as early as possible, and I can see some really fun teams that you can make around her. It'll be interesting to use James and Arav in the same team for me, because generally I don't get the opportunity to get Arav to rush too early because people aren't too heavily damaged on that first turn, whereas James can do that with that collateral. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the League Season 10 season store, and I am looking forward to obviously future seasons with more S-Class characters. If 12 weeks becomes the norm, we should be getting 4 a year at that point. Obviously, that's every 3 months. And the side characters, as much as I You know, I don't think these are going to be too influential in raid gameplay. They're going to maybe be good for survival roads, that sort of thing. And they're fun characters. If you wanted these characters when they're first released, you've got an opportunity to get them now. I know a lot of people did like Ty in terms of just his visuals and the kind of thing he can bring. He could potentially be used on a team even now. Just because he does burn damage, he doesn't necessarily have to be utilized for his percentage damage. So that could be quite interesting on like a bleed team, for instance. But do give me your thoughts on this season store. What do you think of Ivanova? What do you think of Ty, Elodie, and Xander, as well as the ascendable characters? And also the Letterman jackets and those baseball caps. Do you think it's a good thing they brought them into this part of the store? As I said at the beginning of the video, how many season tokens do you already have saved up? It'll be interesting to know how many people are just going to be able to buy Ivanova straight off the bat. And I think she's an instant pickup. I don't really think anyone's going to say not to get her. Even if she wasn't that good, it would be good to get an S-Class just straight away. The fact that she is actually useful in many ways. On an attack team, she's going to be great as a support character, as a leader, whatever you want to use her for. I can see her being a staple in a lot of people's teams. I didn't draw focus to the fact that she does not have an attached weapon, so you can already have a weapon ready and made up and waiting for her. And being a strong character means she can utilize that stun on attack, which the potential of is very powerful. Especially on attack, she doesn't really bring much control otherwise, so you will be relying on those stunts. But like I said, do give me your thoughts. I'm pretty happy. We'll see how the season pans out over the course of the next few weeks. That is the end of my video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.